Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to the first Elite Encounters update of 2016. I hope you had a good New Year, I hope you enjoyed your Christmas. I tried as much as I could to enjoy mine, and yeah, it was okay. More importantly, I've hopefully achieved the break that I wanted, and will hopefully be setting back into a bit of a routine come sort of a little bit further on into this year. So without further ado, let's get going. So not a lot on the agenda. I was a bit late in sending out the email because pretty much I forgot, so that's just me getting back into the swing of it now, so I apologise for that. I'm extremely tired today, I do apologise. I've not been sleeping very well, so I will let you listen to that with all the trepidation that you like. But yeah, so I've had a month off. I've enjoyed my Christmas, I've enjoyed my New Year, I've spent some time with the family, hopefully trying to recharge the batteries a little bit, and yeah, basically taking a break. So hopefully we should be refreshed. I've yet to see what happens yet. Obviously new work has been quite a different thing. It looks like I'm through the probation on that, so that looks like that should be something off my mind. I'm hired in. So hopefully one less thing, but we'll see what else happens. One thing that has been kind of going on over the last month has been a bit of a conversation with someone over miniatures rules. Now I know I said I wasn't going to be doing any work over this last couple of days. Oops. But the day after I actually sent out the email saying that I wasn't going to be doing any updates. Sorry, I'm really tired. I do apologise. I got an email from one Mr. Colin Ford, who was asking about some collaboration on his miniatures rules, wondering if we could work together and hopefully come up with a set of rules that would be compatible with each other, because we've both been looking at doing 3D miniatures, 3D printed miniatures, that kind of thing, or even 3D, any kind of sort of injection molded or vacuum formed or whatever method it turns out we can use that would be cheaper. If one, both, or all of us who are interested in that kind of thing can get licenses from Frontier. So it's been a kind of a bit of a trip to try and see if we can amalgamate what he's been doing for his rules into what I've been doing for my rules. Now, we were quite surprised to find that there was quite a lot of crossover. Now, bear in mind that his original Elite Miniatures games, Colin's original Elite Miniatures game, was kind of based on the... oh, for God's sake! Was kind of based on the Fantasy Flight games, battle miniatures games. If you've not heard of them, they're the X-Wing, Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game, the Star Trek Armada miniatures game, and various other similar kind of games like that. But he's moved away from that rule set to try and sort of develop his own sort of, it's the best word, his own feel to the game, so it becomes more elite, because it didn't really have much of the elite mechanic or the elite feel to it. So in his quest to move forward with it, he has moved away from the Fantasy Flight game system and moved to a very neutral space, which was kind of crossing over. Oh, for God's sake! Was kind of crossing over with me, and as we talked more about it, we found that we were having more and more things that were in common. Now, an interesting development as far as I'm concerned is that I have moved the miniatures game away from hex grids, because the more I've been thinking about it, and the more like the last sort of month or so has gone, it's been a bit of a constraint to the way that the system works. It did solve some good some problems, but it created a load of problems of its own. So oh fuck, it's just stop me on it. Oh, where was I? I've not done this for a while, I'm totally out of practice with it. My hex rules were not making things easy. So I suggested to Colin that I could move away from the hex rules, which is the part of my rule system that he hated, and we discussed what options we'd have for that. And what we've come up with in the last 4 weeks of conversations is pretty good, actually. Elements of his rules were working better than elements of mine were, and vice versa. And we have reached a middle ground with that, which I'm quite happy with, actually. I'm quite excited about. So it looks like we should have sort of working set of miniatures rules that we can share between us very, very shortly. Oh, I do apologise, I just can't stop this yawning. So yes, the next generation of miniatures rules looks like it's already on the table. We've been having conversations every sort of Monday evening, usually sort of after stream time. And again, we'll be having another chat tonight. We just need to work out some of the little things, some not necessarily restrictive system things like weapon ranges and critical hit tables and so on, looking like it's going to work quite well. So, for crying out loud, I do apologise. God. So yes, that's been quite exciting. Now the thing is, what comes with that is quite far-reaching, because one of the compromises that's had to be made is that my hex trackers, which use the number of hexes and max hits per hex, is not particularly compatible with the miniatures rules game. Now, what was happening was it was actually being quite difficult to keep track of what was going on, and in practice, using those hex trackers has seemed to be, especially if you're making quite a lot of changes to it, involves quite a lot of rubbing out and rewriting and so on, and it's a very sort of small chart of things, so it's not perfect. It did solve a lot of problems when I started it going, when I came up with the idea. It did solve a hell of a lot of problems, but it has, in terms of, what am I trying to say here? In terms of ease of use for a player rather than ease of use for a system, it doesn't work in practice as well as I hoped it would. Without having a huge set of hexes for it, with taking up half the form, then it's not going to work as well as I'd hoped. So it's been stripped away for the miniatures rules. We're now just using hull shields and that kind of thing on the actual form. Which should work better for the miniatures rules. Now, the difficulty I've got at the moment is whether or not to take that back into the main rule set or not. I'm looking at options for that. Whatever would work better for that is the way I'll go in practice with players. Now, one of the benefits of liaising with Colin on this is that makes two of us, and we can actually do some playtesting with that, hopefully. So we're hoping to either get together or get online and get some of that stuff done, because we're not really fall that far apart. I mean, he's in Manchester and I'm in Derby, which isn't that far away. So in theory, we should be able to get together, or even just get together online and give it a playthrough and see what happens. But at the moment, it looks quite good, and Colin's confident in himself that it works okay. So I think, to be honest, in the 4 weeks that I've been off, i.e. not doing full-time work on the book, I've actually managed to do more stuff than I did in 6 months of working on the book. So there you go. There's a page missing. Yeah, there's a page missing in the presentation. There was a bit about upcoming events. Elite Meet this year isn't going to be in Glasgow. On the 7th of April, I believe the date is. There's been no movement so far as to a location other than it being in Glasgow. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening with that. At the moment, if I'm being honest, I'm not entirely confident that we're the wife and I, or the child and I, or all three of us are going to make it for various different reasons. Some of them being financial, some of them being time constraints, some of them being work commitments, and some of them being health issues. Just so many different things at the moment that may not be cleared up or out of the way in time for April coming along. Obviously I want to try and focus on getting the game ready as well during that time. So there we go. You just missed your mega mention. Sorry, Colin. Phoenix Defier there that you can see on the screen, that's Colin, if you didn't know that already. Follow his YouTube channel, by the way. He does some really good YouTube videos for Elite. The top Shift, he's called it, kind of parody of Top Gear. Very good, very worth a watch, very informative, and he has the dulcet tones of a late night talk show host, which is quite impressive. So yes, just do a search for. You can see it on the screen in front of you there, Phoenix Defier. Just do a search for that on YouTube. So the other thing coming up would be LaveCon, which I've been talking to the organisers about, and I'm going to be looking at LaveCon a little bit different this year. Transcoding. I don't want to be. I feel like when I've been doing things in the past, I've basically sat at a table, looked at all the stuff that's going on, and then run a couple of RPGs. And although that's been quite useful, quite happy with it. But I wanted to give a bit more back this year, because I've obviously, they've been really good to me. They've been really generous towards the RPG. They've given me loads and loads of playtime. They've given me loads and loads of mentions, and loads of sort of room to do stuff. So what I've asked this year is that rather than having the same kind of format, sort of mix it up a little bit, and rather than doing the off the cuff, roll up a character then play a game for an hour sessions that we had before, that it would be nice to have maybe a stage presence this year. So rather than being off in a secret room somewhere playing a game, we'd actually get a group of experienced players together, have characters already rolled up, have a mission idea in our heads, and then a group of us basically go up on stage, sit at a table, or whatever method they want to do it, with someone videoing it and putting it on the big screen basically for people to watch, and we basically play a game live on the stage. I thought it was a nice idea. It was a bit different. It maybe gives someone an idea what to expect. It wouldn't be as chaotic as most of them. Acquisitions Incorporated. No idea what that means. And that's it. The option that has been put across is that if other people want to GM games at LaveCon, and there's enough interest in it, then Karen and Alan and the organisers are very happy to do the same as we did last year. It's just that I wouldn't be running any games like that. I'd be running it on the stage, or I'd be part of it on the stage, or we'd do something else. I'm not even sure what we do on stage. It might be a Q&A session, it could be a game session, it could be a mix of the two. It could be quite a lot of different things going on. It's entirely up to Karen. I've left it kind of in their hands, and see what happens. But yes, in the thing of all that is that I would rather have I'd rather spend the time being a volunteer this year and actually help out and actually do something useful, and wander about and help people, and just actually be part of the convention staff this year, because they've done a lot for me. They've worked the little bombs off for me in the past, and that's been great of them to do that, and I want to give something back, so I want to do that. So I'm going to be volunteering. I'm going to be an official LaveCon staff member this year. I have put my application in to be head of merchandising, head of RPGs, head of tabletop gaming, head of board gaming as well. So I may actually be organising some stuff with Colin as well, which will be quite fun. If Colin's there, that is. But yeah, so that's all different. Now, the big thing, the big announcement that I didn't actually put on the agenda, because it's a fuzzy goal I'm going to set up at the moment. I would like to have this book ready for sale for LaveCon. Now that Colin and I have managed to break the back of the miniatures rules, that was the biggest bit left to do. All I need to do now with that essentially is we'll finish some stuff off tonight, next week, and then get things written up in a sort of prosaic sense rather than a bullet point list, which is what we've got at the moment. Once that's done, that's a fairly large part of the book actually done and dusted. I have arranged with my wife and my family to utilise the extra time I have now that I'm finishing work 3 hours earlier than I was before. So in theory I'm finishing at 4 PM. I can get home again for about 4:30, 5. I can then, in theory, work from 5 until 9 on the book. This is what I've tried to arrange anyway. I've been given the go-ahead by the family. They're okay to do that. My wife's care has been taken care of for those days that I'm doing that, which will be 3 days a week, hopefully. And if I can get focus on things that need to get done for the book and nothing else comes up and nothing else goes wrong, then I feel that I should be able to get this book done, dusted, written, approved, edited, hopefully, at least in ebook form for July, for LaveCon. If I can do that, I have put that on the table to LaveCon as an option, that I could have a table there to actually sell the game. It'll probably be online at that stage, because I don't think I'll have hard copies done by that point. So that is my goal. I have a deadline. As I say, it's a fuzzy deadline. It is not a hard and fast deadline. It's my attempt to try and get things out. I want to get this done by a landmark event, which is LaveCon, and I think July should give me enough time. The sort of goals before that would be actually get the writing and the graphic format and everything like that, the actual thing ready for submission, written, graphic design done, layout done, and a sample PDF finished and ready by the end of May. So that gives me 3 months, 3.5 months to get that done. Fingers crossed. As I say, I don't know if I can make that deadline. That is my internal personal deadline. I am not going to put that out there to the people that are following this Kickstarter as a hard and fast deadline. Please do not make that mistake. I want July to be a landmark. I want it to be a what is it? What do they call it? Is it a landmark, or is it a milestone? A milestone in the development of this game. If all else fails, I would like to get all the formatting and all the stuff I said I could get done by May. If I can get that done by June, that's my secondary goal. So if I miss the May deadline, I want to get done by July, so that I can actually say to people at LaveCon, right, it's ready to go. I just need to get it approved and go to Frontier and get it back. Obviously, I don't know how long that's going to take. The editing process and the approval process and the read-through process from Frontier are probably going to take a significant amount of time. So we'll see. So as I say, that's it. I am not putting that as a line in the sand, but it's there as a kind of fuzzy line in the sand. I'm going to try and achieve that goal if I can. If I don't get any distractions or issues or problems with health with anybody in the family between now and then, and if I can keep this tiredness thing out of my head and keep this fatigue thing out of my head and manage what's going on, then I can't see why I should miss that. So fingers crossed, anyone. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, so I've gone slightly over on this. This is probably the longest one I've done for a while. More to say than the agenda would have said. I did forget to kind of put that on there. So I hope you've enjoyed this update. The next update will be next Monday, when I'll actually have some actual work to hopefully report back to you. You can probably guess that most of the updates from now for a while are going to be about the miniature rules being at various different stages. So expect that for a while. So yeah, I'm going to draw it close. So I'm starting to ramble now. I am really fucking tired. I do apologise. So yes, Monday 18th of January, that's next Monday, 8 PM UK time for the next one of these updates. If you have any comments, questions or feedback, then please get it to me by Monday at 6 PM next week, and I'll try and keep it into the broadcast for you. I've not had any feedback through this whole month I've had off, apart from people saying good luck, and if you have to do that kind of thing, you have to do it, which is fair enough. So you can get in touch with me by any of the methods at the bottom of the screen there, and that's basically it. Oh, there it is, look. Oh, I put it in the wrong place, didn't I? What a tube. I've forgotten how to do everything on this thing. I did do it in kind of a rush at one point, hence why I was a little bit late. So yes, thanks for watching. Take care. If you are joining me for the Elite Dangerous stream after this, then please hang fire and I'll reboot the broadcast. So take care, everyone. Good night.